So I can upload a folder. I can also make a doc, a sheet, a slide, forms, and there's other things I can do too. A drawing. I can go to my maps, Google Sites, Google Apps script, everything like that. But what I want to do right now is I want to make a Google Doc. The first thing we're going to talk about, oh, I'm going to go back. Don't want that. Just going to go back to my doc, my home. The first thing that I want to do is I want to talk about using templates. Templates help you do things. Basically, somebody already did this template, they made it already, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Say you want to do a resume. These templates are all there. All you have to do is go down the screen to see what templates are available. Somebody already did these things. So you've got newsletters, you've got all these different things you can use. To use it, all you have to do, and I'm just going to click on newsletter, is click on it. It's going to create it for you. You should give it a name. If not, it's going to give you a name, newsletter. So I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to give it today's date just because I always do that. And it's the 24th, and I'm going to call it Company Newsletter. Company X Newsletter. Then I can go down the screen and I can change anything I want. So I could call it Company X. Delete, delete. Okay. And then I can change anything I want. I can change the picture. If I click here, picture tools comes up. I can change the picture. It says replace the image. I can upload it from my computer. I can do all these little different things. So I can look for pictures. I could put an owl in there. Good. So that's what I can do. So think about using templates. Another reason that you want to use templates is because templates will make you do things. If you don't have any idea of how to start something, look at a template and say, okay, I see that I can start it with this. And then you can keep adding on to a template. It's not that hard, but you need to start. We can take this class today and you can go home. And if you don't use what you learn, it's gone. So, okay, to get back, I'm going to go back to the drive. Okay. Why would we use Google Docs? That's one thing we have to ask ourselves. There are many advantages. You get 15 gigabyte free. You also can collaborate with up to 100 people. So this template that I just made, if I want to, I can get 100 people to collaborate with it on me. Also, anytime you update something, it's instantaneous, and also everything you do is saved. You can also go back to old documents. It's called a revision history, and we're going to look at it in a minute. You can get it from anywhere. You can get it on your phone. All you have to do is download the app on your phone, and you can have Google Docs on your phone. You can get it anywhere. So that's why we would want to use Google Docs, and it keeps getting better. When it first came up, it's free. But when it first came up, Google Docs was very wonky. It's getting better and better and better. Especially today, I was accessing tables, and tables used to be, I couldn't change the properties. I couldn't change anything. If I wanted something, a row to repeat at the top again, I'd have to cut and paste. You don't have to do that anymore. They change things. So it's great. So what we're going to do now, though, we looked at a template. I want to click on new, and I'm going to just go to create something. I'm going to go to Google Docs, and I'm going to create something new. Then just close your eyes, everyone, though. I'm going to go to something that I already created and just pretend I did, that I didn't. I already created this, and it's called Lorium, and I changed it. So let's pretend that this is what I created. And this is just placeholder text that I was able to upload or copy and paste from Word. And you have to know how to do that to have the placeholder text. So I actually You have to use Word. I'll send you the little, it's called a formula. I'll send you the formula how to do that. And you could just copy and paste it. So I copied and pasted this text. So what are we going to do now? So you should name it, but even if you don't name it, it will name it for you. So I want to go through the menus of the toolbar. Okay, we got search. If you're searching for something on the document, you can click here and you can search, and it will, you could type something in there. I don't use it that very often. Undo, redo. If you do something and you say, I don't like it, you can undo it, redo it, and it keeps all the undos and the redos.
Right.
Print, spell check, paint format. We're going to get back to that. If you wanted to see this bigger than 100%, you could click here or you could fit it to the screen. Text, we are going to look at this. This is normal text that we're looking at. That just means the text that's in your document. We'll talk about headings. Headings are very important, and we're going to look at that. What is the font? What is the size of the font? So we're looking at, we have this clicked here. We're looking at Patrona 14. There's so many fonts here. So if you don't like a font, you can find another one. There's just so many fonts that they give you for free. And just like in Word, if you want to make something smaller, you're going to click on the minus sign by increments. If you want to make something bigger, you're going to click on the plus sign, and it makes it bigger. You've got bold, italic, underline. You can also change the color of the font. So if you wanted this to be blue, you could change the color. We just want to mute everyone. I keep hearing feedback from somebody. So this right here has underlined it. I can also highlight this. So if I wanted to add like some yellow in back of it, I could do that. Adding a link, we're going to do that later. You can add comments. This is another thing that's nice about this. When you share with people, anybody can comment on it. You can also, at the end of class, we're going to show you how to do this. You can just say somebody can edit, someone can comment, someone can just view. They can't do anything but look at it. Inserting images, and these are the alignment tools. So if you wanted to center something, you could center it. Usually I don't do that. You can also, we're going to talk about this later, line and paragraph spacing. This is how you would make it double spaced. These two things, remove space before and remove space after paragraph, I use those constantly because it makes your if you have more white space, it makes your document look better. It's easier to read too. Then you can make a checklist, a bulleted list, numbered list, and then you can indent. The other thing is you want to clear the formatting. If you don't like something that you did, you could just clear the formatting. And these are other things that you can do. So this is I'm going to go back. So right up here, I'm going to undo this, what I did. I don't want these things. I want to go back to what I was before, and I'm back to what I was before. So always look for undo. That's going to help you. Okay, so adding headers. Headers are very, very important. They break up the copy, but they also allow you to do something that we're going to get into later in class. And they're very easy to use, and I'm going to show you how to do it in a minute. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. So this right here says I have this normal text. Let's say that I don't want this to be Patrona. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to click here. I'm going to go to, I'm going to change the text. So let's say I'm just going to do an awful text so you can understand what it looks like. I'm going to change my normal text to architect's daughter. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on normal text and I'm going to go to the arrow and I'm going to say update normal text to match. So now everything is Architect's Daughter. So when you open up a document and you have a certain font that you want to use, if you change it, the normal text, it will change the normal font to that text. I don't really like this font. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo what I just did. It's going to bring me back. I'm going to undo it twice. Okay. So, but let's say I like Patrona, but I want to change my headers. So headers are important because they allow you to break up the copy and also make something called a table of contents, which we're going to do a little later. So I'm just going to click on title and it's going to give me this nice looking title. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click on the down arrow and I'm going to go to heading. And it's going to give me this nice little heading. And if I say, you know, I'm going to go down over here and I don't like, I'm going to go to heading 2. I don't really like heading 2. I want it to be a little different. So I'm going to make it italic and maybe I'm going to make heading 2 12 point. I'm going to move down the 12 point. So I'm going to click on heading 2 and I'm just going to move my cursor over and I'm going to update heading 2 to match and it updates it. And if I had another heading 2 in there, which I'll make this heading 2, it would update this too. So I'm going to click down here and go to heading 2 and it will update the whole thing. So if I had a document, and this is what I do, I just put the whole document in, then I make it pretty. So I get everything in, then I decide, okay, what do I want this to look like? So right now I've got the whole thing in, so I'm making it pretty. But you can change things, and that's a great thing in Google Docs. You're just not married to what you have. You can change, you can upload. We don't get into that, but you can if you had, I don't think with a paid account, with an unpaid account, you can upload fonts, but they have so many fonts that you can use. With a paid account, you can. So, but let's see if you can. So one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to Gemini and I'm going to ask Gemini. I got to move this around because I can't see. Okay. So I'm going to say, with a free Google Drive account, can I upload fonts? Yes, it says you can. So you can upload fonts. I didn't think you could, but you can upload a font. So if you needed a certain font, you can upload it into Google Drive and you can use that font. So it's great. I knew you could with a paid, but I wasn't sure with the free. Okay, so another thing that you could do is you can use something called paint format. And this is also in Word too. It's in most word processing apps. So let's say this is my title, and I'm going to make this a little different just because it's the introduction. So I want it to be a little different. So I'm going to change the color. I'll make it red. And I'm going to make it italic. So I made this red and italic. Okay. I want to repeat this format for this paragraph. To do this, all I have to do is make sure that my flashing cursor is in the paragraph that I want to repeat the format. So I like this paragraph. I like this red. I like this italic. I want to repeat the format. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in here, flashing cursor. I'm going to click on this paint format brush. I'm going to go down and I'm just going to highlight this and it repeats the format. This will save you a lot of time. So if you say, you know, I like this, I love this, I don't know how I did it, but I want to repeat it, all you have to do is click anywhere in the paragraph, in the word, anything, and just highlight what you click on this little tool up here, paint format, and highlight it, and it will repeat the format that you had. So, okay. Changing space lines. Okay. After this class, probably on Friday, I'm going to send you a book. I had to change so many things on this book because Google Docs got so much better since the last time I gave this class. Really, it's just really improved. So let's say right here, I want to make this double spaced. To do that, you're going to click right here. This is a very useful tool. Right now it's 1.5. You can make it single space. I'm actually 1.15. I usually use 1.15. I think it's easier to read. But let's say I wanted to make a double space. All I have to do is click here and it will double space it for me. This is 2 paragraphs though. So I'm going to click here. This is the end of the paragraph. I'm going to click again. And I could remove the space after the paragraph, or I could remove before the paragraph. I use this a lot. But let's say I wanted custom spacing just because I double spaced and this is, I can't tell that this is a paragraph. So I'm going to click on custom spacing. And I've got line spacing 2. I could change it from here. I'm going to put, after it, I'm going to put 24, just so you see. Click apply, and then I get more leading between it. So look for that. It's going to make your, a lot of times people will, instead of putting some space between a paragraph, they'll use the enter key. I don't like to do that. I'd rather put space between the paragraphs. So I just use the enter key. I'm going to backspace and get rid of it. If I wanted more space between this paragraph, I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here and it says remove space before paragraph. I'm going to go to custom spaces and I'm just going to put like 12. I think it just looks better and it flows better and you don't have unnecessary carriage returns because sometimes you're thinking, why is it doing that? Well, it's because you added a carriage return. So sometimes it doesn't line up correctly. So think about using this tool. I use it constantly, especially these 2 things, remove paragraph and add. It usually is add paragraph. I'm usually adding paragraphs, but any questions? Okay, so we've got this a little bit how we like it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down the page and I'm going to go here and I'm going to insert a graphic. To insert a graphic, there's a number, well, there's 2 ways to do it. I'm going to click on insert image. You can upload it from your computer. You can search the web. That basically means you download images from the internet to your computer. If you have a graphic on a drive, you can do that. If you have a photo, you can look in your photos that are on your app. If you're using it on your phone, you could go, if you know the internet link, you could do that, or you could use your camera. What we're going to do now is we're going to upload it from the computer. I'm going to click on it. And the only picture we have on here is the owl, so I'm going to use them. Okay. So if I want to make something smaller, I always want to do it from the diagonal. And what I do is I'm going to position my cursor at the diagonal. It's going to look like a 2-headed arrow. I usually hold down the shift key when I do this. Not everybody does. You don't need to, but I just learned that way. So I do. And I drag it up and I drag it down. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So notice when I'm clicked on the picture, there's little tools that appear at the bottom. This shows me how I want the text to appear. So right now, the text is text before, text at the bottom, and then there's a picture. And right now I can't move it because I have to pick what I want. So I'm going to pick wrap text. Now I can move this anywhere I want to, but I have to pick wrap text first to be able to move it. So I'm going to move it a little bit up here and I can break the text. I can have it behind the text. I can have it in front of the text. I'm just going to go with the second one. Also, I can add a border. The border is up here. So I can pick a border color. I'm going to just make this, well, I can pick a custom color, and this is fairly new. A A custom color is basically an eyedropper. So I click the eyedrop and then I pick the color from somewhere on my document. So I'm going to pick this light color brown. So just so you could see it, I'm going to click that and it's going to add that to my document. Then I'm going to click here and look at the point size. Next to it, I have the color that I picked from the bird. And I'm just going to make it really big so you can see it. So my point size now is 12. I can change the way this looks. I actually like it the way it looks, but I can have it dots. Ugh. I could have it hyphens. I don't like that. I'm going to click back on here and I'm just going to put it back to what it was in the beginning. So I can also cut this, crop the image. So if I click on crop the image, maybe I want to get rid of the top. I'm going to click here. Actually, I'm going to undo that. You got to click right here. So now I've cropped it. I've got rid of the extra green on the top. Before I just moved it, which isn't good. I'm going to click on crop again. Now it's cropped. I can also undo what I did, but I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to redo that. I sort of like it that way. Okay, so to move this, I'm going to move it a little up and a little over. Other things that you can do. Right here, you have margins. So if I wanted the text to be a little bit more than the eighth, maybe I want a half an inch. That's a little bit too much, I think. 3/8 of an inch. I'm gonna move this up again. I want this sort of like here. And then I can change it to a fixed position on the page. If I never wanted to leave the page, it could be there. Or I can have it move with text. And I'm probably going to have it move with text. Other things that you have here that you clicked, from the side, a task pane is opened up. And I can change this, the size of it. Probably the one that I use the most is recolor. So, and they said there's no recolor for this, but if I click on the down arrow, there will be a recolor. So I'm going to click on the down arrow, go down, see what there is. And maybe, letting me go down, I'm going to make it more black or white. I think I'll do that. I'm going to pick this one. So I recolored it and you're going to see what it looks like in a minute. Okay, it's more black and white. It's sort of cool. So I'm going to leave it that way. My document is about Halloween, so I am going to leave it that way. So, and I think I'm going to make this a heading 1. Yeah, I'm going to make it heading 1 and it'll make it go down. I like that better. So you can always play with things. Okay, so now I have an image that I got from my computer. I want to add another image about Halloween and I got it and I want to get it from the internet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Insert, Image, and search the web. There is a task pane that opens up on the side, and I want to talk about this. There are copyrights things that you have to think about. If you want something that you know is copyright free, you want to go to some place called Creative Commons. I'll send you a link to it. And also there's something called Pixabay, and you can get copyright free images from those 2 sites. So I will be sending you this. That's one of the reasons I wanted your email of where to get copyright free images. Google Images does not guarantee that. Bing, if you do a Bing, you can set it to Creative Commons only, and Bing, you can actually get copyright free images. In Google, you're not sure of it, but this is I'm just going to use this for this class, so no big deal. So I want Halloween and I want black and white because I want that to look like and I don't want clip art. I'm just going to go Halloween black and white and see what it gives me. So I've got all these things that it gives me that I can use. I don't really see. I had one before I really liked and I don't see it. No, I don't see it, but that's okay. I use the same thing, but I'll take this one. So then I click on insert. It puts it into my document. I can make it smaller again, just like before. The bad thing, it's not bad, but the thing about this is I am going to have to recreate everything that I did with, if I wanted this to be the same with Microsoft Word, you can just use the format tool. You can't do it in this, which is fine. You know, this is free. It's getting a bit better all the time. So I'm going to make this a little smaller. I'm going to hit enter, and maybe I'm going to make this heading 1. Okay. So, and then now if I click on, can't move it yet till I decide what I want this to look like. I'm going to make it look like this. That's fine. Now I can move it anywhere I want. Maybe I want it centered, so I can move it there. But I'm going to have to move that down. Okay. Any questions? One thing that I don't like about Google Docs, and it hasn't gotten better, is when I do an instructional design manual, I use a lot of arrows. And if you want to use arrows, you have to draw the arrows, then insert the arrows. And I'm sure it'll get better. So that's one thing we're not going to go through. But if you do need arrows and things like that, what I do is I do it in Word and then I make a screenshot. And it still hasn't gotten better, but it will get better. As I said, everything's getting better here. Okay, so I did that and I have this and I think, oh, okay. So what I want to do now is I want to add a table. So I'm going to add a table here just so I can show you stuff. So I'm going to make this a heading 2. So I'm going to make this a heading 2 and I'm going to add a table. So I'm going to click on my enter key to get a flashing cursor. That's my insertion point. And I'm going to click on insert and I'm going to go to table and I'm going to draw the table. So I'm going to make it 3 columns and 4, I'll make it 5. Okay, so tables, they've gotten so much better in Google Docs. What I want to do now, I want to get rid of this, is I want to see what my table, what I want my table to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the table and I want to go to table properties and it's going to open up this task pane on the right. So I want this to be my header row. So I'm going to call this sales product price. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to go to cell. No, I'm not. I'm going to go to row and then it's going to say pin header rows. I want to pin this header row. That means if this table gets big, the header row repeats on each page. This used to be something you couldn't do. Now you can do it now. It's great. Cell alignment right here. Do I want it to be in the middle, top, bottom? I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But you can change that. If you have really big cells, I use middle a lot for something, so you can change that. Also, I'm going to go to color. So I want the first row to be a little different color. So I have it highlighted and I'm going to make it, maybe I'll make it green. That's going to be the border, which I don't want, but that's okay. I'll leave it green. That's fine. So I have this highlighted again. So you could change the border color. You also can change the background color. So I'm going to go here and my background color, I'm going to make the same green. So in order to go from cell to cell, you're going to enter things and click the tab key. So I'm just going to keep entering. And you can see it goes to the next level and it retains the header, which it never used to do before. You'd have to copy and paste it. So that's great. The other thing that I like about this is, let's see, just going to hold this down. Okay. I don't want this row to be started here. I want the rows to be together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in here, make sure my flashing cursor is in here, and I'm going to click on allow row to overflow across pages. I'm going to unclick that. Then it's going to start the new row there. So that's very nice. Used to not be able to do that. You can do that now. The tables have gotten so much better. I can actually get rid of the border, but it's one thing you can't like have a in Word, you can have a border that nobody can see. You can see it, but nobody else can. And it doesn't have that yet, but I'm sure it's going to soon. So if I needed to get rid of this border for some reason, I'm just going to show you how to do it. I probably wouldn't do it, but I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to get rid of the border. I'm just going to go here, table border. I'm just going to have nothing and then 0, and it's gone. I can still put things in this, but I don't know that it's a table. So, but I'm going to undo that. Any questions? Okay. The other thing you can do is you can do columns. So I'm just going to show you one thing. Okay. I'm going to put a column at the end. I'm just going to highlight this. Highlight that. Copy and paste it. Okay. I want this to be columns. So I'm just going to click here and I'm going to click on, I think it's format columns. And it gives me 3 choices. I could do more if I want, but let's say I'm going to just do a 2-column. What it did is it makes the whole document 2 columns. I don't want that. I just want the column to be there. So what I'm going to do is where I want to start the column, I'm going to insert a break, and I'm going to put a section break. I can make it continuous, but I'm going to make it on the next page. So now if I click here and I go to format column, it will just do it there. So you've got to think about this. It's not as user-friendly as Word, but it's free. So, you know, and to get rid of that, what I would just do is I'm going to click down here and I'm going to re-put that in. And then if I wanted to get rid of the column, all I'd have to do is highlight, I'd undo, or I could just highlight, and then I could go to format column, and then I could go back to here, and then we'll get rid of it. But you're going to have to tell Google Docs that you don't want the whole document, you just want that. So you're going to have to make a section. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so I got this pretty well done. And, you know, I've been working on this with a couple of people, and I don't really like what I did. So I want to go back to something that I did earlier. To do that, I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to go to Version History, and I can name this version, and I'm going to name this version Don't Like. And I'm going to save it. So I'm going to go back to File, Version History, and this is what's really nice about Google Docs or Google Drive. You could just have all these versions and go back to them. So I'm going to go to see version history, and it opens up all the things that I did before. And I named the version history that I really liked, and I called it first. So I'm going to click on first, and it says, do you want to restore this version? I'm going to say, yes, I do. I'm going to restore this version. So I like this better. I was able to find better things with it. But so if I needed to get back to the version that I did before, I'm going to go to File, Version History, and I'm going to see version history again. And maybe I might go back to don't like, just because I want to show you something. Okay, so then I'm going to restore this version history. So if you don't like something that you did and you know that you did something before, you can go back to it. And that's why I name my version histories, especially when I'm doing Excel spreadsheet, not Excel spreadsheets, when I'm doing Google Sheets, because if I'm sharing with somebody and I get it just the way I want it, and then I have to share it with them, and they may change things, and I know that I have the formulas in right. I know I have everything right. So I do name the history of the version so I can go back to it if the person makes mistakes. We all make mistakes, so there's no big deal. So you can go back to the history. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some page numbers to this. So I'm going to click on Insert, Page Numbers, and it gives me some options. I can have them look like any of these four things. I could click on the first, second, third. I always go to more options, so I want to see what I have. So where do I want the page number to go? First of all, if I have different sections, I want it for the whole document. Do I want it in the header or the footer? I like it in the footer. Do I want it to show on the first page? I'm going to say no. When do I want it to start? Start at 1, that's fine. And I can, if I have different sections, I can apply from previous section, but I want the whole document. So that's okay. I'm going to click apply. So it's going to show up in the bottom. I remember I said the first time, the first page I didn't want it on, the second page I'm going to go down to. Now I'm going to finagle it a little bit. I don't really like it on the right side, so I'm going to make it in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it or have a flashing cursor. I'm going to click here. This is your alignment tools right here, and I'm going to click there. Okay. Also, what I like is I like my page to have a count. So I'm going to hit the space bar, type the word of. Then I'm going to click on Insert. I'm going to go to Page Numbers, and right here you see Page Count. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to automatically put a count in for me. So if I add a page, it'll automatically do that for me. So I did my page numbers. Any questions? Okay, I see a chat.
No, that was someone had to leave. They don't
Okay. Okay. So the other thing I want to do is I want to add a link. There's different ways you can add a link. You can add a link within a document. That's why it's important that you have headers. Or you can add a link to another internet site or something like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the Downers Grove Library webpage. And I'm going to click right here to highlight the address. I'm going to do a Control-C, that copies it. I'm going to go back to my, can't see this. Back to my Lorium document, and right here, I'm going to add the link here. So I'm going to click on here. I'm going to highlight where I want the link to appear. I'm going to click on the toolbar and click on Insert Link. I'm going to paste the link right here where there's a flashing cursor, Control-V. I'm going to click Apply. So when I click here, you can see that I have a link to the Downers Grove homepage. So let's say I wanted to make another link to this link. Maybe I'm telling people all about this, and I said, and the link appears. So I'm going to click on here. and I'm going to click link. And I'm going to click on headings and bookmarks from the bottom. And I think this is where I put it, right? So now I have a link to another heading. So I'm going to click here, comes back here. I can see the Downers Grove website. So you can do it within the document or you can do it into the internet. So that's how you do links. Any questions?
No.
Okay. So I told you before how important headings are. You just saw they're important if you're doing links within a document. But the other and most important reason is because if you want to make a table of contents, you have to use headings. You can't just highlight something and bold it or make it a different color. So I decide that I want a table of contents for this. So I'm going to put my cursor right here. It's going to be a flashing cursor, and that's my insertion point. I'm going to click insert. No, it should be down here. Then I'm going to go all the way down, table of contents. At the very bottom, you can see how I can do it. I can have just numbers. I can have numbers and leaders, which are little dots that will go to the numbers. Some people like that. Or I could just have it within the document where you can just click. So that would be internal links. I'm going to pick the second one because I'm going to print this. If I wasn't going to print this, if I was just going to leave this on Google Docs, I'd pick the third one. But I'm going to print this too. So I'm going to click on this one right here. Okay. And you can see. So right now I might need a little bit of room between there. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to custom spacing and I'm going to add some spacing before maybe 24. So give it a little room. Okay, so now because I added the headers, what Google Docs does, it picks them out. So if I wanted to go down here and actually, I'm going to undo this. I'm going to show you the other way to do it. I'm going to undo it. I'm going to add it again, insert, table of contents. I'm going to do this one just so you can see. It doesn't matter. This one you wouldn't print unless you were going to make it a PDF, then you could do that. And PDF is a portable document file. Then I would use this too. But in most cases, if you're going to print something, just have the numbers there. So I'm going to, again, give it some leading just so I can see it. Custom 24. Okay, so I'm going to go down the page. And I'm going to add some headers. So I'm going to go down here. I'll add this as a header. Make this header 1. Click here, header 1. Go down. Any more? Make this header 2. Go down some more. Make this header 3. So I've added some headers. I've added some stuff to my document. I want to upgrade the table of contents. All I have to do, because I used headers, is click on this little circle and it upgrades it automatically. So if I go down here, it'll take me down the page. So that's why it's important to use headers. I'm going to get rid of this extra space. I don't like it. There. Okay. So that's why it's important to use headers, because you can upload a table of contents. Okay. The other thing that's really important about a Google Doc is that you can share it with somebody. Up to 100 people can be working on this Google Doc at the same time. So what I want to do is I want to share it with somebody, but I think I shared it with them already, but I want to share them again. Click on share. And you can see Sue is already shared and I'm already shared, but what you do is you can click here and you can add somebody's email address or just the person if they're in your contacts. I'm going to put me. I don't know why it's giving me Marian Badkey, but I want to add an email address. I'm just going to click that one. Okay. Then right here, you can make the person a viewer, a commenter, or an editor. A viewer can only look at it. A commenter cannot edit it, but they can comment. An editor can do anything that you do. You can always take away these things. If you don't want the person to see this, you can take it away. You can take away them seeing it. But the thing that you have to be wary about is if you made them an editor or a viewer or a commenter, what they can do is they can save it as something else. So if you've given someone the privilege of looking at something and you want to take it away, just remember they may have copied it. So be wary of who you send it to. Another thing down here, this is a link. If you wanted to copy a link and just send it to a lot of people, you could do that too. And you could send it to them. So message, you could give them a message. And then you click on send. Okay, and I was shared anyway. That's my Google account. So it's my iCloud account. So that's how you can collaborate online. So Sue, I'm going to share this with Sue so she can see. I'm going to stop my sharing, and Sue is now going to get on. Actually, I put multiple persons to share simultaneously. So see if you could share.
I'm trying to get back to that,
Loriam.
I know, but I can't get to my email account
Why not?
because it's
Chrome.
yeah, it's not showing me.
Give
Okay,
Chrome.
I see it down here.
Okay,
Never
now
mind.
click on, then
Yeah.
you click on share. I still see you. I don't see share. You got to click on share. I don't see it.
Here.
Are you in it?
Oh, I gotta go back to it again.
Are you in it though?
Well, yes, here it is.
Okay, click on share. I
Okay.
can't. Nope. I can't see it. Okay, I'm just going to see if you're in it. No, I don't see you in it. But yeah, actually you are. Okay, so now she's in it. If you click right here, she's red. So you're going to have all different colors here. So Sue is here. If Sue changed something, would you?
Okay.
Just type something. So she can change anything she wants, but you are the person who is the one who finally gets, because you created it, you can change it back. And that's where revision history is good too, because you can go back and go to your history that you named, which I always do. I name a history and then give it to other people, and then they can change things. And if I don't like something, they can go back. If you really don't want somebody to change things, but you want input, make sure they can only comment. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. If you don't, I'm going to be sending you the doc. I'm going to be sending you a student guide. I'm also going to be sending you some links to get free images, which would be Creative Commons and Pixabay, because that is something you do have to worry about is copyright. you have to think about that. But these are places where you can get free copyright free images. And as I said in the beginning, use the templates, because if you take this class, you spent an hour here and you don't do anything with it, what's the point? And don't be afraid of making mistakes. That's how you learn. So, and also share this with people so that you can see how that works too, and go back to your revision history. All this stuff will be in your student guide. And if you ever need questions, or if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. I just want to show you one other thing before you leave. We have something at the library. We have two things at the library. One of the things we have is called Book an Expert. And you do not have to be a Downers Grove Library patron to use this. You can go to our library's website, which I'll be sending you information about this. And you click on using the library and click on Book an Expert. And you can, if you need help with something, if you are working on a Google Doc or something like that, and you need extra help, all you have to do is fill out this form. We will pair you with somebody who knows about whatever you're looking for. Some people want people to do web pages for them, things like that. We don't do that. We'll sit with you an hour at a time. You have to do it. And then you can come back as many times as you want. The other thing that you have here it's under research, all databases. If you have a Downers Grove Library card, you have to have a Downers Grove Library card. You have to go to Education and Learning. And we have something called LinkedIn Learning, and also Universal Class. And these have computer classes on them. They have other classes too, especially Universal Class. If you want to learn how to use the tarot, you could do that, or you want more genealogy help, you could do that. But this is things that you can get with your Downers Grove Library card. We've added new things all the time. Another one is very good is BrainFuse Adult Learning Center. Great. There's tutors there that can help you. Creative Bug is for what would you call it? Crafts. And another one that's good that you don't need a Downers Grove Library card, but you can get it from our site, is gcfglobal.org. That's Goodwill. And they've been around for about 30 years, and they do a great job with technology training. So these are great resources that you can use with your Downers Grove Library card. And we are going to be sending you that information, so you don't have to worry about it. But we'll send you the information about how to get onto this, because this is free things that you should know about. We have wonderful, wonderful databases, Consumer Reports, Ancestry. We just got something called Fold 3. And you can get Fold 3 from home. Ancestry, you have to come into the library to use. So this is a great tool. All these things are free with your Downers Grove Library card. If you don't use them, they will go away. So think about using them. And if you need help to get on them, we're more than happy to help you with this. So if you don't have any other questions.
I have a quick question.
Uh-huh.
How do you save things in a different format than Google Docs? Say I want to save it in Word docx.
Yes, you can do that. Yes. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to File, and you're going to go to Download. And you have all these things. You could Word. Another thing that you can do is you can upload a Word document and not change it to a Google Doc. I usually change it just because there's more things you can use with Google Docs. If you keep it a Word doc, you can't use as many of the features, but you can do any of these: Word doc, Open Doc format, rich text format. The way to do it automatically, change it to a Google Doc, is you go into your settings, and I'm going to click on that. Actually, you have to go into your Drive, you go into your settings, and then you have to go down the page, and it says convert uploads to Google Docs editor format. So I usually do that because there are features. If you keep it a Word file, you can't use the features. Also, Google Docs if I upload a Word file to Google Docs and I have arrows and stuff like that, it doesn't work well. Even if I keep it a Word file, and I'll keep it a Word file and then I'll download it back to Word, and I've kept it a Word file. And you think, okay, when I download it, it looks terrible and it takes me like an hour to clean it up. So I usually don't do that. What I usually do is I'll do Word, I'll get it really vanilla. I won't put any formatting in, nothing, and then I'll upload it to Google Docs so that it's a pretty clean copy. I don't usually upload a Word file, but I will download a Google Doc and make it pretty. So any other
Thank you.
questions? And we'll have that in your student guide, just so you know. Okay, well, thank you very much for attending. We will be sending you a student guide, and I'll be sending you other things too. So thank you
right.
so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.